It got cold and we're supposed to get frost tomorrow.
Seriously?
Yeah.
80 degrees south? Good evening. I'd like to call the Town Council regular meeting of April 7th, 2025 to order. If we could all please stand for Councilman Savage for the invocation and remain standing for
Gracious Heavenly Father, for the opportunity to gather here this evening, Lord. We thank you for our town, Lord. We ask for continued protection upon our employees and our citizens, Lord, in this community, Lord. We just ask that you be with us and guide us, Lord, and let us make those decisions in accordance with your will, your direction for our now. First, in Jesus' precious name we do pray. Amen.
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. McComb is not here, but he's not going to be able to call in either, so we don't have any remote participation. All right, I'm going to open up the floor for public comment. First one is Mr. Stephen Liscombe.
Hey, thanks for letting me be able to speak with you guys tonight. So what my desire is what I would like to ask you guys is there at the old fire department, the church for us, Covenant Bible Church, we would like to ask you guys if it would be a possibility if we could put in some mini splits, AC, because as you all know, the AC up there is super loud, and when we're having praise and worship or I'm speaking, we have to turn that off, and we have like 3 window units that we put in to try to, offset the heat and stuff like that. I'm saying that the church would incur the cost of buying the equipment to put up there based off, how much it would cost. We could put them in, hire someone to do that, or if you wanted maybe the town, your guys to do that. We love the space and we want to stay there long term. It's not something that we're looking forward to for a quick fix. We want to be there for a long time. The seats are needs well. We're a small church, so we don't need anything big. So we want to stay on Shingantig as well. So we'd love to have the space. We just need some AC, good, reliable. Does that sound like a jet engine taking off? We've all been up there, games or, dinners or whatever, and it's super loud. So,
Okay.
I looked at the square footage. It's 2,700 square feet approximately is what that room is. So I figured it up. We would need like between a 54 to a 60,000 BTU unit. Mini split, so that would say 136,000 BTU, and then another one a little bit smaller that could do that do that room. So, would love for you guys to entertain that and tell me what you all think.
Why don't you this week get with Mike
Okay.
and talk with him
All right.
and see what we can come up with. How about
Okay.
that? Does that
Sounds
work?
good. Yeah, that'll
All
work.
right, thank
All right,
you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for
everybody.
being a good tenant too. All right, next up, Hannah Kate Groban.
Hi there. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Bowden and Town Council. My name is Hannah Kate Groban, and I am the Executive Director of the Island Community House at 6246 Mumford Street. I am here to share a few highlights of our 2024 Impact Report to show our impact on the Chincoteague community. I do have a few copies of our full Impact Report up here, if anyone now or at the end. I met with Mayor Bowden on her first day of public office hours to share our mission of providing an accessible space where all persons can gather for programs to enrich social, emotional, physical, and intellectual needs. After a lovely discussion about how the Island Community House supports Chincoteague and how we can continue to fill the needs of our ever-changing community, she encouraged me to share our work at the next Town Council meeting. So here I am. Yes, ma'am, I am here. I am always excited to brag about the work that we're doing there on Mumford Street. In 2024, the Island Community House hosted 303 programs, events, and classes that furthered our mission. Over 170 of those were programs that were free or donation-based to our community. These community events totaled 2,403 individuals attending. One of our cornerstone programs is our donation-based community luncheon. This luncheon is held the third or fourth Thursday of every month and is anyone in our community who wants to connect over a good meal. In 2024, we served 415 meals. And thank you to the Chincoteague PD that 1 month that we made way too much food and you came in leftovers. Our fridge really appreciated it. We are not the only ones that get to use our beautiful downtown space. The Island Community House is available to rent, and so during these private event rentals, 448 people came through our doors. The Island Community House has hosted birthdays, bridal and baby showers, reunions, and memorials. We are touched that we get to be a part of very meaningful moments in people's lives. We know Chincoteague means so much to people, so I love getting those phone calls of, I've loved this place my entire life. I want to have my bridal shower here. I want to have my baby shower here. And so as a nonprofit, we raise every dollar that is needed to host our events for the community. In 2024, we were able to raise $23,000, which went right back into the programs for 2025. I, as well as the board of the Island Community House, is incredibly thankful for every dollar and every minute that was donated to our cause. And 2025 is already off to a great start. From January to March, we have already hosted 80 events with 475 people attending. We aim to surpass our 2024 numbers by hosting more classes by local educators, as well as offering more free events for community connections. We know now more than ever that our community needs these free events for folks to come and be in community. I hope to see all of you at an Island Community House event in the future. Once again, my name is Hannah Kate Groban, and I am the Executive Director of the Island Community House. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, and do y'all have any questions about the Island Community House or what we do? Wow, I'm up here.
Do you have any questions?
You do a great job.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you
what I was
very
going to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I love it here. I'm planning on being here for a while. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Thank you for
Mayor.
coming in, for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, could I
Yes.
get you to pause just for
Yes.
a second? We want to reset our audio because apparently we don't have audio on Facebook right now.
Okay.
Sounds like a
But you or me?
Ain't me.
Okay, we should be up and going now.
Okay. Need a motion for tonight's agenda adoption?
move.
Got a motion by Councilman Savage, second by Councilman Richardson to adopt tonight's agenda. All in favor? All opposed? So moved. All right, staff reports. Mr. Talbert.
Thank you, ma'am. Just 1 second.
Tyler.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on out there, but there's somebody moseying around. That way. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're short.
Get him.
Okay, we're talking about, for general government, we're talking about, the first thing we're going to discuss is grants. We have several grants on the board right now. The Septic Local Partners Grant, I think most folks know about it. It's been in the paper for the last few weeks again. A Septic Local Partners Grant is through the Department of Environmental Quality. It is worth $912,000 to the town of Chincoteague, and it is specifically to redo private septic systems. If you have a failing septic system, you could qualify for either 50 or 100% of the replacement or repair of your system at 50% value up to $20,000, or for 100% value of up to $40,000. We have applications at the town office, and I encourage everyone who thinks their system may be failing to come in and fill out an application so that we can try to qualify you and help give this money away. It's I can't imagine, especially in this weather, there's not some folks on Chincoteague that don't need work to their septic system. And that's what this grant's for. VDH planning grant, Virginia Department of Health planning grant. The town is applying for a planning grant from the Virginia Department of Health that will be used to provide planning and engineering for the relocation of the town's drinking water wells from Wallops Main Base. We are also applying to the Health Department for an Emerging Contaminants Grant, which will be used to do a test well and prove the water chemistry and volume that are available on the property that the town already owns, the Matthews property over next to on the south end of Wild Oaks. And this application is due in early May, as is the planning grant. And they have NASA's been gracious enough to assign us some help on this from one of their engineers who's familiar with grants and water systems. So that's a big help. Two VDOT grants. Both of these are through the Transportation Alternative Program. One is Maddox Boulevard, which is to replace a culvert on Maddox at Eel Creek and also provide a pedestrian sidewalk from Eel Creek on up to the circle. The second grant, TAP grant, is for a sidewalk on South Main Street, which will connect with the existing sidewalk on BB Road and proceed south all the way to the harbor. Those grants are due next month. We're going to submit those, and they are both TAP grants are 80-20 grants. That's 80% VDOT money and 20% comes from the town. Moving on, our sewer collection system continues to progress. Underground Connections, our public sewer contractor, paused work on Maddox Boulevard in early March and started work downtown. He should be getting through the downtown in the next few weeks, and I know he'll be excited about that and go back to work on Maddox Boulevard.
I will too.
Looking at meals and transit, as we do every month, meals taxes are down by, and this is for the month of activity in the month of February, but collections in the month of March. Meals taxes are down by just under 3%, and transit occupancy tax is down a little over 16% year over year. That's from 24 to 25. Even though these percentages are down, we still expect, or I still expect, that both taxes will meet their budgeted revenues for FY25. Looking at our financial report for the month of March, ending in March, our levels still are where we would expect them to be this time of year. Of course, looking at things that are primarily like the trolley and mosquito control are not going to show much in the way of expenditures right now, but that will be picking up in the next few months, of course. We'll tell you that our mosquito control department is already out doing some preliminary work. For the trolley, the Pony Express just completed the DRPT's triannual compliance review. We did very well. Only a few comments to our policies were made. And Billy is currently working with Mary Esther to arrange trolley transportation for a very significant upcoming event. Mary Esther will have that in her report here in a few minutes. Looking at building and zoning for the month of March, Mark issued 48 building permits, did 58 inspections, and for a total building cost of construction of $1.2 million and total collection fees of $4,500. And with that, I have one more announcement, and it was too late for me to get in the agenda for tonight, but the town of Chincoteague, as of last Friday, hired a planner. The first one we've had in a few years now. I can, as of tonight, as of late this afternoon, I'm allowed to announce who this planner is. Her name is Amanda Baker, and she is currently the city planner for the city of Salisbury. She has decided to move south, and we are very excited to get her to start. She has a lot of experience. We've interviewed her a couple times, so we're looking forward. She will be starting on the 28th of April, and we have a lot of things on her desk when she walks in the door. So.
Might have to send her a sympathy bouquet first day.
In any event, that's the end of my report. I'll take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Talbert? Chief Greenlee?
Yes, ma'am. On March the 5th, our office provided a security detail for Congresswoman Jen Kiggins for her mobile office, ensuring the safety of all attendees. On March the 14th, our entire department successfully completed a radar and LiDAR recertification. That's due every 3 years, so everybody is now radar and LiDAR certified. The next thing you see on March 25th is TREADS, and that's the Traffic Records Electronic Data System. That is the state website how they gather all their data from accidents. And they are rolling out a brand new system. It's all web-based. So Lieutenant Gladding took a online course, train-the-trainer style. So once they roll it out officially, he'll be able to teach our officers, getting us trained immediately, so it should be a smooth switchover. And on the 26th and 27th, we took a ASP Baton refresher course. I know in my updates to you guys, I've been talking about sending Thomas Adams to that. He successfully completed the training, and we did a hands-on scenario-based training with training batons. And the Red Man is, they call it the Red Man because it's actually a padded suit. So Thomas created real-life scenarios that we might encounter where we might have to use an ASP. And it's a pretty intense training that makes it, almost seem real. And Thomas did a great job teaching the class. Phenomenal job. Everybody, the feedback from everybody was like, we need to do this more often. So we will be doing that soon. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Chief Greenlee? Okay. Mr. Parks?
Yep. So Public Works in March, a few weeks ago, we regraded and cleaned out some ditches, several different locations, some on Wayne Road, Rosedale Drive, Arbor Lane, and cleaned out some other pipes. And I'm sure after today's weather, some more areas will identify themselves, but hopefully we made some improvements where we have paid some attention. This month, the filter media was replaced at our filter plant, and I just included this so that, so you could kind of see how many different layers there were of different size media that's in these tanks. So that was a major thing that we've been waiting some time to do. So got that done. We moved some generators around. With the weather this winter, we kind of realized going through some scenarios with Chris that our existing generator that was at the water plant would only run one high lift pump at a time, and we didn't feel that was sufficient. So we have moved some generators around. This is the generator in the picture is the generator that was at the water plant. I think it originally came from the old firehouse, if I'm not mistaken. We've moved that to our Public Works facility, our garage back here, because it is capable of running everything in that building. And we've moved the portable generator that's the 100,000 kW generator. We've moved it back to the water plant, and it will run everything there sufficiently. In anticipation of paving coming up very soon, we've started clipping back the roads. We uncovered about at least 4 feet of asphalt on most of Ridge Road, so it made a huge difference there. So we're going to continue working on that for the next week or so. We also replaced sidewalks around town where different things have happened over the winter where we've had to tear up sidewalks, whether it be a water leak or other things going on. But we've got them all poured back, and that went well. As you can see, the gym floor, all the tile has been removed and all the glue has been removed. That's clean white concrete at this point, and just waiting on the new floor to be installed, which will hopefully be happening very soon. Mike touched on the sewer project, so we won't talk much about that, but restoration has also started taking place, which I was glad to see. I mean, I just took that picture a week and a half ago, and now there's grass growing everywhere where I took that picture. So they're cleaning up behind themselves very well. Got some items planned for April. Hopefully we're going to get started on doing some painting to freshen things up, but the weather's got to get a little bit better for us to be able to start that. But we need to be painting curbs and crosswalks and other things around town. The gym floor will be installed this month. The only thing we have left on the fishing pier down at Memorial Park is the railings on the gazebo. They have been ordered, and we ordered some stainless steel railing, and that should be in a few weeks. And the fuel tank at the harbor will be painted this month as well. That's all I've got.
Could you add to your painting list the flagpoles out here?
It's on my list, but I sure will.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Parks?
Joel, ever get a chance to look at rip wrap? I know you all going to ride around. Okay.
Yep, we have estimates and quantities and price.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, Mr. Rush?
Yes, ma'am. So, as you can see on the screen, March, we kind of started out like the lamb in March and ended like the lion because we were really starting to come under what last year's numbers were, and then the last week and a half we really turned on for a total of 82 for the month of March. So it turned out to be a pretty busy March for EMS. In that time period, we were able to do our yearly obstetrics and newly born training, which is loved by some and hated by others, which I think would be common in all aspects when it comes to delivering babies. So we had a good time with that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any pictures with that because there were some funny pictures. On the emergency management side of the house, we've been really busy. We did get our ham radio fixed up. We found out that not only did we have a bad antenna, we had a cable that was cut underground for some time. So it was good that we were able to do that testing. Mr. Bill Wallace, helped us with that. So we now have our ham radio in our back cubicle there, active and ready to go should we need it. I know it was discussed in February about the water outage emergency that happened in Richmond, and there was some concern about, what could we do here? I'm happy to announce that we had an exercise that tested our emergency plans, and I'll go into that in a little bit here in a second. More launch-range meetings, hazard mitigation plan project. Mr. Bowden and myself went to that management meeting for that first full meeting, and from here on out we've got 3 more to go, and those will be virtual, so that'll make attending those meetings a lot more feasible and easy. The Regional Catastrophic Planning Grant Workshop, we met early March. This focus of this particular meeting was a 4-hour discussion and review of plans for sheltering. Not so much for our sheltering, but as we were sending folks north and west, what happens if they wait too late and leave? What if they get caught, let's say Dover, Delaware, if someone's going north, and the storm comes in because they waited late to leave? How are they going to get sheltered? So we had a really good discussion on that, and we're building that as part of that catastrophic plan. And still working on the EOP revision, hope to have that first draft done and be able to look over it here within the next couple weeks. So back to our water outage emergency, we were able to team up with VDEM. Their exercise and training division developed a water outage emergency exercise. VDEM was really helpful in developing the situation manuals and getting that information out to us. So last Wednesday we met here in the room, we set up the EOC. We brought in partners from the school system, from the health department, from the Coast Guard. We had others invited that weren't able to make it that day, and we worked through a bunch of scenarios in our situation manual, from becoming the start of a water emergency, working it through complex, even to the point of people getting sick because there was some type of contamination. And I will tell you, I'm proud of them. Everyone else should be proud of them. But Chris, Matt, Andrew, of course Wes, they were all here. They were all working the problems. They were all using their plans, and they were able to give some good feedback on some changes that maybe we needed to make in those plans. So it was a really good eye-opener, but they were prepared for what came their way that day. They didn't know ahead of time what they were going to face, but they worked through the problems. Of course, the health department was here. We were able to kind of communicate back and forth with those folks to make sure that they're on the same sheet of music, what they would expect out of us, certainly if we had any type of water contamination, things like that, boil water advisory. So we worked through a lot for 4 hours that day. And again, I just can't say enough about our water department. They did an excellent job working through those scenarios that day. So the Colorado State University's released their spring 2025 Atlantic Basin hurricane forecast. Colorado State, the scientists there seem to be the up and coming, and everybody kind of starts to derive their forecast from the basic information that comes from them. And they'll send another update out about August. Hurricane forecasting, in my opinion, is like taking spaghetti and throwing it to the wall and see what sticks. They're using ocean temperatures, which you see up there, the anomalies that are already present for the year. And they're saying that this year we should see 17 named storms with an average of 14.4, hurricanes 9, major 4. And then you can see those averages in the parentheses in white. And those averages are from the time period of 91 through 2020. Now in 24, we had 18 named storms, 11 of those became hurricanes, and 5 were major. So we're running right along just behind what we saw in 2024. The key takeaway is not these numbers and how many storms are. It only takes one. So we all need to be prepared, because that one could be this year. So again, it only takes one. Doesn't matter how many you got. It could be the one. So I say it all the time. I'll say it again. Prepare now. I generally say while the sun's shining, go out and get your disaster kits ready to go. It is a little rainy tonight, so it would be a good practice scenario. But take this time now before storm season gets started, and make sure that you know where your supplies are at. Make sure they're good. Get new supplies, pet supplies, your medicines, insurance paperwork. It's a good time now to review all that. So EMS remains busy. Emergency management, we're exercising plans and then doing some revisions and rewrites of those plans. Spring and summer storm season is fast approaching. Actually, if you look at parts of the country, that spring storm season is already here. We're continuing to plan for our large 2025 event, and again, I can't say it enough, prepare now. I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Rush?
Good job.
Mrs. Leonard?
Good evening, everybody. So as you can see, I've got some pictures up here. March was a pretty busy month. We had 15 days that was used for events. I did 5 tours for future events. So we had some glass mosaic classes that Marcy McComb has been teaching. We had 3 scheduled. They were all full. She has scheduled another one for next week. So if anybody's interested in that. We had a job fair, March the 8th. I advertised it on the radio, newspaper. We only had 13 vendors and only 40 people showed. I've talked to other people up and down the shore, and that seems to be the same thing there. Cape Charles canceled theirs because there just wasn't enough interest. The 8th that we had, when we had Marcy in here, job fair. Police department had their after Christmas party. It was postponed in December for whatever reason. And then I had a third event on the 8th. Stephanie Hale came and did some of her resin art classes. That's always popular. Wednesday the 12th, we had the Eastern Shore Virginia Tourism Commission hosted their annual summit here. It's always been held at the community college, and for whatever reason, I was able to talk them into having it here this year. And the size is much bigger than what the college offers them. And they were hoping that it would be very big, but it did. I think they had 89 people that came. It was very good. Speakers were great. And they are hoping to maybe come back next year and do the same. The Chamber of Commerce had their annual membership meeting the following day after, and they had a networking luncheon also on the 20th. The blood drive for the Red Cross was on the 27th. Kiwanis does an awesome job scheduling that. And this month they did 30 units of blood. So being a nurse, that means a lot to me. That's a lot of lives that can be saved with 30. The 29th, we had Ducks Unlimited dinner. About 250 attendees, and they raised quite a bit of money for that. Village Neighbors came in. They have their monthly bingo on the last Monday in the month on the 31st. The public is welcome. It's $5 a card to play. And I got a nice little picture there on my little cell phone from last year. So the paper that I gave you guys about the Shinkotik Center, I found the budget from FY22. So I just wanted you to look at that. So the authority ran the center for FY22. So there's the revenues were $37,000, facility expenses were $34,000 with a $2,000 profit. So FY23 was the town of Shinkotik's first full year taking it over. And you can see the numbers there, 33,000 income, 46,000 expenses. So they were in the red for 1,300. And then FY24 was my first full year here. So we had a 43% increase in revenue. Now this revenue is what I'm responsible for. It has nothing to do with the taxes, transient. I took all of that out of the equation. So this is just things that I booked myself, the income. And the expenses were $57,000, which is an increase over the FY23, but we did have $8,000 invested in the floors, re-waxing and stripping the floors, and we did buy a stainless steel portable bar that I do rent. So 25, looking at that, the numbers look pretty good. I'm $86 ahead, but we did purchase a floor cleaning machine also for $2,500. So the next 3 months, I expect that number to go up. I also found and have compared all of the A&EC expenses over the years. So the FY23, you can see the total for the electric bill for that year was $18,000. 24 was $19,000. So the new HVAC system was installed in December of the FY24. So as you can see, the numbers after that kind of go down, 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 and down. And I'm proud to say that this year so far is only $8,000 compared to $19,000 last year at the same time. So our system is working very well over there. I want to thank you all for agreeing to go ahead with the HVAC system, also the audio and visual system. Can't thank you all enough for that. Everybody that comes thinks it's just amazing to use. You just plug in and they can do whatever they want. The month of March, I had 48 direct requests. That's either emails, phone calls, requests from the advertising platforms that I have, which is down a little bit. I've reworked the website this weekend. A couple of us got together and we're redoing the website for the center. Hope to have more updated pictures and be able to have calendar and have all the events listed. Coming up, we have the Delmarva Chicken Growers Association coming. They'll be here in a couple of weeks. It's what it is, all of the farmers get together and this is kind of their family day. Bring all the families in. They're usually up in Delaware way. This is the farthest south they've ever come. But they're going to plan this. We're going to have outdoors. We'll have cornhole, all kinds of good things. But it's good that people are reaching out. VDOT is coming in September. This is a big deal. They are the I don't know what you would call it. The gathering that they're having is from 10 different areas in the state of Virginia. Each area has its own line items that they have to meet. They have to meet safety. They have to meet, all these different things. This is the best of the best of the state. So they are coming to have a little award ceremony. It's just one day. Billy and I talked about it, Mike also, and we reached out to DRPT to see if they would allow them to use the trolley, the town trolley, or their trolley to actually take them over to NASA. They're going to tour NASA as well. We had to get a little more information from them, but that was approved. So DRPT is going to do that for us. And I cannot thank the Public Works guys enough. They're always here for me when I have a setup. Need chairs, tables pulled in and out. Wes, I really appreciate you working with me and getting those guys. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Any questions for Ms. Leonard?
Please let me know if you all need anything or if you can think of anything that we want to have.
We're just going to tell Chris to ignore that part about A&M.
I
Maybe
will
we'll
check
talk
his
about that.
pulse here because I showed him the
Well,
19 to the 8.
The system actually, there's an app on your phone. Yesterday I had the air conditioner on.
And today
You know,
got
it was
heat.
on 68. Today the heat's back on. And you can just go on your phone and change each thermostat over there to however
He used to
you
do
want.
that to us up to the high school, and the youngest would be freezing to death in one room, smothering somewhere else.
Thank you for everything. Thank you. Next up, we've got committee reports. First one is Public Works. Mrs. Richardson.
I am.
Mrs. Richardson. Miss Ellen.
Miss Ellen, that's more like it.
All right, Miss Ellen.
Thank you. Our Public Works meeting, we met March the 4th. One of the main things were the spring paving projects, and Public Works Director Parks advised that Taylor Street was discussed, and they will be working on the restoration of the storm drain and the water line along with the reconstruction of Taylor Street. He also recommended doing Beebe Road, and he's already gone through his reports, no need me going all through it. But he requested the Ridge Road from Ocean Boulevard to Beebe Road. The estimate for the work is, now he didn't give us a price, $501,000. And the paving budget for this year is $499,000. Other than that, you have your reports. Are there any questions? You can direct them to Wes.
Any questions for Miss Ellen or Mr. Parks?
I assume we're 200,000 short last year. We're just going to try to roll
But,
that
and
over.
I was going to say, we're going to address that a little later in the meeting. It's on the agenda. We have some news on that. We did have a public bid opening on Friday. We have the results of that, plus some other things for you.
Good? Good, Miss Ellen?
Good, thanks.
All right, Planning Commission, Mr. Bott?
The the notes are pretty extensive. You can look at them in the agenda packet there. I will note that we're working on some stuff with downtown. We did cancel this month's meeting, and we postponed that until the planner is actually on board, so that'll be next month. So that's why the meeting was canceled this month. We're waiting for the planner to come. That's one of the items that'll be on her desk when she arrives.
Any questions for Mr. Bott? All right, budget and personnel, Mr. McComb is not here, so I will tell you a few things that we talked about. Was some expenditures with the harbor, water, public works in the center. What's coming up in this year's budget for water expenditures and salaries, benefits, things like that. Budget is ready to go, is that correct, Mr. Talbert?
Yes, ma'am. It's been advertised, and you have budget hearing and budget presentation at the workshop meeting next Thursday.
Okay. And that's mainly what we talked about was the budget, getting everything under tow with that so that Mr. Talbert could get that out and advertised. And anybody got any questions about budget? I think just about everybody was there for the most part. Any questions on budget? Okay. Let's see. Was there another, do I have two two planners in here?
Yes, ma'am. That's a mistake. I apologize.
All right, I was gonna say. All right, ordinance committee, Mr. Savage.
The ordinance committee met on March 13th, and we had basically two items on the agenda. One was the review of meals tax ordinance, and so we discussed the meal tax ordinance and definition of bulk food, which was mentioned by our town manager Talbert, and the committee agreed to leave the meals tax ordinance as it was. Second item on the agenda was the review of the short-term rentals. Town manager Talbert presented an overview of the short-term rental market in Chincoteague and reported how we thought to handle short-term rentals. And he presented the option of listing short-term rentals as a characterization of the business license. Another option that he presented was to create a short-term rental tax. So there was a little bit of discussion on that. State defines short-term rentals as 92 days or less. And the business license notified the committee that business license expire annually now on December 31st. Our committee was in favor of changing the response time that's given for the business license renewals. We feel that the 30-day payment period is sufficient, and Mike is advised he will review the records and procedures of this matter. And that was basically all that was discussed.
Any questions for Mr. Savage? Okay. All right. Next up, we've got adoption of the minutes from council meeting March the 3rd, 2025, and council workshop meeting March 20th, 25, and the special council meeting on 3/27/25. Got a motion by Ms. Ellen, seconded by Mr. Savage, to adopt those minutes for those 3 meetings. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. All right, next up, resolution for TAP projects, Mr. Talbert.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Each of the grants that I discussed in my report requires a resolution in order to for the application. Would you like me to read resolutions, or just give you a general?
I think we can all read it, just general overview is good.
Okay, well, the resolutions are just simply resolutions of support for the project and for the methods that we are using to attract dollars to this project, which will all be in VDOT through the Transportation Alternative Program. So the first one is the South Main Street sidewalk, which would join up with the BB Road sidewalk, which goes just about 100 yards south of BB Road on Main Street. On the east side of Main Street, we would continue that sidewalk on the east side of Main Street all the way to the harbor. This would provide some separation between vehicle and pedestrian traffic on South Main Street, which we feel is very needed because of the recent development there. And this resolution makes that point. The second resolution would be a resolution of support for the new sidewalk / bike trail / culvert replacement on Maddox Boulevard. This would join a sidewalk with the existing sidewalk, which stops right at Eel Creek on the north side of the road and proceed all the way to the circle at the Chamber of Commerce. Along with that sidewalk, we would be replacing the culvert that goes under Maddox Boulevard there and lets Eel Creek continue under Maddox Boulevard. That culvert right now consists of a 36-inch piece of reinforced concrete pipe, which has some issues. It's old, it has a few holes. We think the joints are separating a little bit, but it constantly requires us to fill the material that is above it as it siphons into the pipe when the pipe fills on high tide. And in order to fix that, we'd like to replace it with a box culvert, precast box culvert, which would add some lane width to Maddox Boulevard and allow us to continue the sidewalk all the way across Eel Creek and down to the circle. And those are the 2 projects in a nutshell, and these are resolutions of support for those projects. It would be from council. The resolutions, if approved, would be part of the applications to the Transportation Alternative Program.
So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion we accept these resolutions of support for both.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Ms. Ellen, second by Mr. Howard to support both of these resolutions as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. Next up, contract awards. Contract for the paving.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm going to start this and then turn it over to Wes. There was a bid opening on Friday. Wes had a bid opening. He was able to attract more than one bidder. Did a very good job of scaring up some bidders on this job, and as a result, we got a significantly lower price than what was estimated, which is going to allow us to do some more work. You'll see the bid quantities there in price per ton of asphalt and the quantity and the estimated quantities, which are Wes's. But you'll see the total there, total contract value of $290,000 for the winning bid and $317,000 for the second bid. So if you look at the remaining FY25 paving maintenance budget, it's $497,000. Of course, that's going to leave us a little money in the grant. So we'd like to do some more work to make sure we spend all of that grant. In addition to that, we have some money that Councilman Taylor was pointing at that is there are carryover funds from FY24 that we have to spend in this fiscal year. So that even allow us to do a little bit more work. And Wes has been working on gathering together the places that we want to pave and stripe. And I will tell you again, he has been very successful in scaring up a contractor, which would give us better striping costs. There used to be one game in town, and now there seems to be another. And as a result, we're getting better prices. So I'm going to turn it over to Wes and let Wes explain to you the areas that he wants to do and what the prices are involved.
So do we need to go over the contract, the bid opening contract any further, or just move on to what's the surplus?
Move on to the areas that we're actually working on.
So a couple of areas I identified that could use some attention is Church Street from Barrett Street to Janes Lane. So it starts out as Church Street and turns into East Side Drive. But that area could definitely use some paving if we're going to do that. You asked about the riprap. If we're going, we need to do this before we place that riprap. We don't want to be working on fresh asphalt.
And Wes, let me stop you for just a second. The bid was to do the original work approved by the Public Works Committee and brought to council, which includes Ridge Road from Ocean Breeze all the way to Bunning Road. Okay, which is the area that you're clipping back the sides on.
Yes.
Right. That was the initial bid for $290,115, and we are recommending, that was by Branscombe Eastern Shore, which was not successful last year, but we are recommending to award that contract to Branscombe Eastern Shore, those quantities, for $290,115. In addition to that, with the extra money that we have available, including the carry forward funds from last year, we're recommending the work that Wes is going through right now.
So that's Church Street and East Side to Janes Lane. Like I say, we could do that before the riprap, so we're not working on fresh asphalt. And we could, the bid that was open Friday called for 1.5 inches of asphalt. I would even suggest, with what we're seeing there on the east side, that we kind of thicken that up to gain some elevation over there. Another area that we could pave is Chicken City from Maddox to Depot. It looks like that's been quite a while since it's had some attention paid to it. Wayne Road it would just kind of complete the whole area from East Side to Ridge Road and make that whole area complete. Again, it's been a while since Wayne Road has been paved. The rest of these are just pavement markings. They're not paving. Depot Road, Main Street, Pension Street, and Maddox Boulevard. A lot of our lines are just gone. You can't even tell that they're there anymore. And when I've got people interested in doing the work that are giving me very good prices, I'd like to take advantage of it and go ahead and get a lot of this work done. But these are just some items that I came up with, just a wish list, if you will.
So the money left from the current year's paving budget of about $192,000 plus the carryover funds from the previous year gives us about $318,000, which would allow us to do the extra paving work and the pavement markings, which we think need to be done. It still may leave us a few dollars short, but we expect that the quantities will increase a little bit as we go, so that may take care of that. And we'd like approval to start on this list tonight, as well as approval to award the contract, base contract to Branscombe Eastern Shore.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so looking at, it looks like what it says right here, remaining FY pavement and maintenance budget is $497,600, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So out of that, we're gonna spend another $318,405 on these projects he's just identified.
Correct.
Right? Which leaves us about $180,000 left.
No.
Why not?
If,
If you take 318, if you
Just a
take
second.
497 minus 318,
okay, so the paving budget was $497,600. Once we take off the value of the contract for $290,000 that we're getting ready to award, you're left with $192,270.
okay, I did not read it that way, because
Okay.
you've got it after
Yes.
that.
And I apologize.
Okay.
But that, and then we add to that the carryover funds of $126,335, and you wind up with about $318,400.
Okay.
We're recommending the following work, the additional paving plus the striping to take care of the balance of that.
You understand what I'm saying, though, where it
Yes,
says
ma'am.
remaining,
Yes, I do.
so after that, that's,
I think I'm blind for the trees. I've gone over it several times. So.
that's all right. So my other question is,
Mhm.
and you know I'm going to ask this question, are we going to have any money anywhere to try to do something with a couple of those roads in Ocean Breeze?
We can do whatever work that you would want us to do, that council approves us to do.
Those back roads are bad, and I'm going to say it again. We own these roads, we need to take care of them in some way, shape, or form. Any questions for Mr. Talbert or Mr. Parks about this paving and/or the other projects that he's identified?
I might make one other note, just because I don't want you all to vote on something without it being crystal clear. This is with postponing Taylor Street until after Labor Day. That's the other reason that the work is available, because we feel like we just don't have time at this point to do the construction on Taylor Street.
I will point out, all of this work it's nearly 100% contractors. So our forces are not working in this. That gives us time to do spruce up, clean up, paint up for the summer season. And we can do Taylor Street in the fall, which we use a lot of our forces in the fall once the rush is over, and we'll have plenty of time to get Taylor Street done.
Taylor?
Being as you're postponing Taylor Street, I gotta ask you this, what is the condition of that pipe underneath Taylor Street?
You talking about water pipe?
Yes.
The main is not giving us any issues. What's causing us, and I'm leaning on Chris a lot for this, but what's causing us repeated issue is the services.
But
Not the
concrete,
main.
it is concrete pipe though, and underneath.
Yes.
I can't help but say it enough. I hate to condemn to another 20 years of that concrete pipe. Was it make 20 years?
No,
Before they repave it?
We're talking about till fall,
No,
Taylor Street.
But are you replacing the pipe?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, that's great. That's what I want. That's what I want
Yes,
to know.
I'm sorry if that wasn't clear.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
just talking about postponing Taylor Street until the fall.
Yeah, but you are replacing the concrete pipe.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Supposed to be.
what that's for the. Anytime we can do that, that's what I want to do. 'Cause
Absolutely.
Like you said, anytime you're doing it, when you cover over that pipe, it's 20 more years before it's going to be done again.
Absolutely.
So thank you so very much for that.
Mhm.
Any more questions for Mr. Talbert or Mr. Parks? If not, I'll entertain a motion to award the paving contract to Branscombe
So moved.
and the other items that Mr. Parks has identified. Got a motion from Ms. Ellen,
Second.
second from Mr. Bott to award the paving contracts and to do the other projects as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that was so moved. All right, next up, Mr. Bott, Harbor Committee.
Yeah, so the Harbor Committee has actually met twice since the first of the year. The first meeting was to talk a little bit about the harbor, the projects we want to get done down there going into the new season. We also took time to look at the lease agreements that we had, slip lease agreements that we had. We also looked at our financials. We also looked at the fact that we really need to do a rate increase, rate increase for the harbor. Last one we've done was in 2017. We are actually at services down there this year. We're going to have fuel attendants this year, which is going to cost the town, I think, between $17,000 and $20,000 a year, or cost the harbor $17,000 to $20,000 a year. So in light of that, we looked at doing a increase in the rates. The Harbor Committee talked about this at the first meeting, then we decided to give it a month to sit on it and talk and do some more research. We looked at comparable rates across our area, still coming in well below anybody, comparably speaking, and came up with the plan that's presented in the document. And I'll let Mike, if you want to take this over as far as talking about how we deduced our proposed rate increase structure.
Yes, sir. I presented 5 plans to the to the Harbor Committee. Each plan had a different rate increase, and some of them used multiple years to apply that increase. The committee thought that Plan 4 offered the most promise on this. Plan 4, well, let me back up. First, slip lessors, or lessees, I should say, were split into 3 tiers, or 3 categories. 1, working watermen. 2 were private users, and the 3rd category was tour and charter operators. And the plan calls for each of the 3 tiers to have a different increase. We also divided the slip size by category, 20, 25, 30, 40, and 50-foot slips. There are 5 categories. Each of the 3 tiers, as I said, was charged, we applied a different percentage increase to each of the 3 tiers for each of the categories of slips. You'll see here on the board the current rates in the 3rd column, the current rates that each of the slips cost now. Now there are no tiers. We simply charge a fixed rate per slip, or per size of slip. For instance, a 20-foot slip is $679 per year, and it proceeds through the largest slip we have, which is 50 foot, which costs $1,678 per year. After we split each size slip into 3 tiers, we applied a percentage increase to that tier. The committee decided that it was best that working watermen were not charged an increase. So their current rates will remain the same over the 2 years this new proposal. Starting with private owners or private lessees were applied 10% in the first year and 10% in the second year. So their rate increases 2 years in a row by 10% each. And we proceed in this manner through all 5 slip categories. Tour charter operators received the largest increase. Their increase was 24.5% the first year and 24.5% the second year. And while this sounds like a significant increase, we are still well below our peers, as Councilman Bott mentioned, in the neighborhood. And there aren't many in the neighborhood here, but the ones we looked at were in Crisfield, Cape Charles, and the closest we could find here. The harbor does offer a lot of services. We have great parking, 2 bathrooms, water and electric at most areas, lighting, surveillance cameras, and we are getting ready to repave the parking lots. The boat ramp has recently been repaired, and we continue to make repairs or strengthening of the bulkheads. We've put in several floating docks in the last few years, so there are lots of improvements. And even though some of those were done with state grants, there are lots of improvements been done, at the Curtis Merritt Harbor. So not having an increase since 2017, we feel it's very appropriate to do it at this time. To give you an example of how each tier increases, taking an example of a 25-foot slip. A 25-foot slip for a private individual right now is $679. After the first year at this rate of increase, the cost will go to $746, and after the second year it will go to $821. That's a total increase after 2 years of $142 for a 25-foot slip. Looking at tour charter operators for the same 25-foot slip, they currently pay $679. After the first year, it would go to $845, and after the second year, their rate would be $1,052 for a total increase, 2-year increase of $373 for a tour charter operator. Again, these rates are still significantly below our peer group. So that's how the plan was calculated, and that's how it was made. It is all here, and we can, if the council approves this, we will publish it on our website, and they would be implemented on July 1.
Any discussion? Any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to increase the rates according to the plan presented by the town.
Got a motion by Mr. Bott, second by Mr. Taylor to go forth with the rate increases for the Curtis Merritt Harbor beginning July 1. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. All right. Council comments. I'll start with Mr. Savage. Mr. Taylor?
Again, we're blessed with all the agencies and nonprofits that work in our community. And I hope they don't think we take them for granted. We're blessed to have each and one of them. All the volunteers we have. If we didn't have them, our town wouldn't be the same. And, they provide things that you can't afford to do. It's all the volunteers that are over here, all the real big fields, and just like you said, it's like the lady who's here tonight. They look out for the elderly people in our community. They're doing the jobs that we can't afford to do, and they do it a very well job. We're just thankful and blessed, and we keep them in our prayers, and definitely keep had a man ask me today, what do you want me to pray for? We pray for everybody. Everybody's going through a lot, but we pray for each other and lift each other up. And we can pray that, what Ron was saying a while ago, the storms will pass us by, but be prepared. And just thank the dear Lord He's given us this great place to live, and pray that He continues to look at after us.
Mr. Howard?
Yeah, just wanted to say it's a good job by Little League this past weekend, having their opening ceremonies and everything. They had a lot of kids, a lot of participation, and it's a strong program, not just for the island, but off the island and for everybody. And it's good to see everybody taking care of the youth and keeping them involved.
Mr. Bott?
The good job, Wes, and I guess Mike worked on it together on the paving, changing the paving around. That gives us a lot more bang for our buck, I think, going into summer. I like that whole way you kind of changed it around, doing Taylor in the fall and all this in the spring. It's going to have things looking pretty nice.
Is it? Ms. Ellen?
Wes, I probably asked you before, when are we going to pave Main Street?
It will be patched before Memorial Day
Okay.
with, if not a full lane width, almost a full lane width. In the fall, we plan on the sewer contractor coming back to run the laterals to the existing customers. And then we would do a final paving of Main Street this fall after that is completed.
Okay. Thank you.
I agree with Mr. Bott here. You did great moving all that around. Things are getting ready to get busy. I do have to reiterate, though, that I want us to try to find some kind of funds to do something with a few of the roads down in Ocean Breeze. I'm a firm believer that no matter what this town owns, we got to take care of it. Whether it's, Public Works needs equipment, Mary Esther needs sound, things like that. You gotta provide these things. We are getting ready to go into a big year with the 100th anniversary of the Pony Swim, and we all, need to work together, make the town very inviting and welcoming, and just want things to look good. We've got a lot going on with paving, and got a new planner coming in, and things like that. So I'm really hoping and thinking we're going to have big things. And I can't say enough again about our employees. They go above and beyond, and I appreciate each and every one of them. And with that, I'll entertain a motion in accordance with Section 2.2-3711A-19 of the Code of Virginia. I move that council convene a closed session for the discussion of plans to protect public safety.
Motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Savage, second by Miss Ellen to go into closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.